Okay, shall I read the next paragraph in the next page? Turn to page number 106 on the top. I do believe, said Alice at last, that they live in the same house. I wonder, I never thought of that before. But I can't stay there long. I'll just call and say, how do you do? And ask them the way out of the wood. So, see again that paragraph. In the beginning, she could not be able to believe that they both were living in the same house. And she was wondering. Okay. But she doesn't want to stay for a long time there. But one thing she wanted to know. What is that? The first thing she wanted to ask a question. How do you do? Or how are you? Or how are you? Or all this. And ask them the way out of the wood. Underline that. She wanted to know how to come out of the woods. Okay. So, the question part on the right side, it is given there. Why did Alice think that Tweedledum and Tweedledee lived in the same house? She might have thought that they lived in the same house as the signpost on the road for their houses always pointed in the same direction. Okay. So, signposts were showed in the same direction. Because of that only, Alice was thinking that they were living in a same house. Is it clear? Okay. Now see the next paragraph. So, she wandered on. Wandered means she was walking on, talking to herself. Okay. As she went, till on turning a sharp corner, she came upon two fat little men so suddenly that she could not help starting at them. They were standing under a tree, each with an arm round the other's neck, and Alice knew which was which in a moment, because one of them had Dum embroidered on his collar and the other D. Okay. If you look into that picture below in your textbook, you can see that there were two persons standing there. One of them was putting the hand on the other person's, and on their shirt collar it is written there Dum and a D. Is it clear? Okay. They were standing up there under a tree, and each with an arm round the other's neck. They both were putting one hand on their neck, and on the shirt collar it is written there Dum and a D. Okay. I suppose they have each got Tweedle round at the back of the collar. Okay. She said to herself. They stood so still that she quite forgot they were alive. And she was just looking down to see if the word Tweedle was written at the back of each collar, when she was startled by a voice coming from the one marked Dum. Startled means she was feeling or showing a sudden shock. Okay. Startled. The word is written there. You underline that word in your textbook. The meaning is feeling or showing a sudden shock. Okay. So, she was wondering whether they are alive or dead. Okay. If you think we are waxworks, he said, you should pay. You know, waxworks weren't made to be looked at for nothing. No how. Okay. So, if you visit the gardens and all, you can see the people were built like that with a wax. Okay. And here, if you think we are waxworks, he said, you should pay. You know Works weren't made to be looked at for nothing. No, how? Contrariwise added to the one mark D. Contrariwise means in the opposite way or order. Okay, underline that word, contrariwise. Okay, that means the other side, opposite side. Added the one marked D. If you think we are alive, you ought to speak. I am sure, I am very sorry, was all Alice could say, for the words of the old song kept ringing through her head like the ticking of a clock, and she could hardly help saying them out loud. Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle, for Tweedledum said Tweedledee had spoiled his nice new rattle. Just then flew down a monstrous crow. Monstrous means a ugly creature or a frightening appearance of a crow. Underline that, monstrous. Okay, underline that word in your textbook, monstrous. Okay, that means, what is the meaning of it? It is a ugly creature. Okay, like a, here, which one is flew on the top of it? A crow. As black as a tar barrel. Okay, which frightened both the heroes too. They quite forgot their quarrel. I know what you are thinking about, said Tweedledum. But it isn't. So no how. Again, contrariwise, continued Tweedledee. If it was so, it might be, and if it were, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't. That's logic. Okay? All these words are coming in the short forms of it. Okay? So, I was thinking, Alice said very politely, which is the best way out of this wood? It's getting so dark. Would you tell me, please? Okay? Again, she was asking the way how she can come out of the wood. Okay? I was thinking, Alice said very politely, which is the best way out of this wood? It's getting so dark. Would you tell me, please? But the little men only looked at each other and grinned. Grinned means smiled. Okay, Grinned. Grinned means smiled broadly. Okay, they looked so exactly like a couple of great schoolboys that Alice couldn't help pointing her finger at a Tweedledum and saying, "First boy." "No, how?" Tweedledum cried out briskly. Briskly means quickly. She shouted and shut his mouth up again with a snap. Okay, with a snap. Snap means making a sudden audible noise like that. Okay. "No, how?" Tweedledum cried out briskly and shut his mouth up again with a snap. "Next boy," said Alice, passing on to Tweedledee, though she felt quite certain he would only shout out contrariwise, and so he did. "You have been wrong," cried Tweedledum. "The first thing in a visit is to say, 'How do you do?' and shake hands." And here two brothers gave each other a hug. And then they held out the two hands that were free to shake hands with her. Okay? Alice did not like shaking hands with either of them. First, or fear of hurting the other one's feelings. So, as the best way out of the difficulty, she took hold of both hands at once. The next moment, they were dancing round in a ring. This seemed quite natural. She remembered afterwards. And she was not even surprised to hear music playing. It seemed to come from the tree under which they were dancing, and it was done as well as she could make it out by the branches rubbing one across the other like fiddles and fiddlesticks. Like a fiddles means violins with a stick. How a music is produced with a violin. Okay, so fiddles and fiddlesticks, underline that. Fiddles means violin and the fiddlestick is the stick that we are using to play the violin. Okay, so that paragraph is very important. You see that Alice did not like shaking hands with either of them first for fear of hurting the other one's feelings. So as the best way out of the difficulty, she took hold of both hands at once. As the best way out of the difficulty, she took hold of both hands at once. The next moment, they were dancing round in a ring. They were playing. This seemed quite natural. Okay, and she was not even surprised to hear music playing. It seemed to come from the tree under which they were dancing. It was done as well as she could make it out by the branches rubbing one across the other like a fiddles and fiddlesticks. Okay, so the branches were rubbing each other off the tree just like violin was playing the music. Okay, but it is certainly was funny, Alice said afterwards, to find myself singing here. Here we go round the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush. I don't know when I began it, but somehow I felt as if I had been singing it long time.